Ordered as a work session agenda for July 22nd, 2015. If we can all rise for an invocation. Council, can you lead us in an invocation?
Yes, Mayor. Heavenly Father, we thank you for your love, grace, and the many gifts you have bestowed upon us. We ask that you bless this commission and continue to provide them with the guidance they need to make the city of San Juan a better place to live, work, and conduct business. In Jesus' name, amen.
Flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All may be seated. At this time, I'm going to inform the commission. As you remember, last night we recessed on the original workshop for the budget. So this one's set at 6, so I'm going to recess this particular meeting on the work session so that we can complete the other meeting that was recessed. So I'm going to go ahead and recess this meeting at 6:01. And at this time, I'd like to reconvene on the meeting from yesterday regarding the, I don't have the wording on that particular agenda from yesterday. I'd like to read it onto the record. Thank you. And I'd like to go ahead and reconvene in the meeting that was from yesterday, July 21st, a work session agenda regarding number 4, the city budget for fiscal year 2015-2016 goal setting session, and 5, review the departmental goals, capital outlay, and personnel requirements. And Chief Gonzalez, I believe that we ended up with the sanitation department, is that correct? Utilities?
Department, yes, ma'am.
Okay, can we continue on that?
Sure. They will go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission.
Good evening.
On the utility billing, we're not asking for new employees. We're employees of 6, and we pretty much left everything the same. The only thing we now are requesting is the water meters were originally budgeted in the water distribution. Yes. And now the utility billing will be taking care of the water meters. Our the other big increase there also is the supplies, and in researching it, we can bring that down from 10,000 to about 5,000. There was an error in input there.
Which one was that, Leroy?
On the
okay. You want to bring it down to 5,000?
yeah.
Okay.
The other items are capital outlay, which these items were presented by Ms. Baca yesterday, and this is the 31,000 is for the encode upgrade.
What page are you on, sir? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
She's on the,
145.
the handouts, Mayor? We're on
the handouts.
From yesterday.
Page 145.
And page 145.
Allocated the encode upgrade because utility fund has billing as part of that too, and also the fixed asset that I presented on yesterday's on the finance also allocated it to the utility fund, their portion too. Also, they're requesting some receipt printers. Some receipt printers are old and they need to be upgraded. And then also the desktop computer in the Dell server also came from Hussein's budget. I just allocated what was needed to be allocated to the
You prorated the. Let me ask, on the water meters, I might have missed it while I was trying to flip through these pages. For the 25,000, I know that there was water meters either because of the meter itself or the way that we were reading that were not, marking any type of water usage.
There is meters, Mayor, that when we hired the utility billing supervisor, she found a lot of meters that were what they call plug. They weren't registering water. Water was going through, but it wasn't registered. So we replaced all of those meters, and well, actually, right now the meters are handled by Ramiro.
Yes, we went through quite a bit of meters this time. What happens is, as for state regulations, we have to replace the meters if they're dead, not registering, blurry, they're non-readable, and if they're either 3% slow or 3% fast, they have to be taken out of the system.
How do we check that? By our
We have a
records,
bench,
or?
we have a bench tester that we purchased, and that will give you an accurate reading, pretty close to 100% accurate reading, and it'll either tell you whether it's 5% slow, 5% fast, or it's 1% slow, 1% fast.
Done monthly? Or I mean, how long? Like you said, it wasn't registering right now. Like sometimes something's wrong with it. How long does it go before we find out that it wasn't?
When we do the billing, if it's at 0 and we know that there's a customer, I mean, active.
Yeah, something's wrong.
Something's wrong,
Yeah.
and then she'll send a work order out to get the meter tested, or to get tested to see if the meter is registering correct. And that's how she found a lot of them that sent out work orders because there's active accounts, but the meter wasn't registering. So by her looking at it and saying there's 0, there's something wrong here. So.
And all those that have been identified have been replaced? Yes. So the 25,000 is just to keep on doing replacements as, I got you.
And on that tester, do you guys calibrate it, or how do you know that it's
Basically,
working properly?
We run water through it into a 10-gallon cylinder, and what you do, you actually set it. You can set it into high flows or medium flows as well as low flows, and once that meter, you start it off at 0, empty out the canister, turn the water on, and as soon as the 10 gallons go through, when it marks 10 gallons, you check the gauge, and it'll tell you if it's within range. It'll give you a pretty good reading. It could be off by 5, 6, 7%. All depends on, or it could be right on the money, being it's a very accurate meter. But it's something that we don't usually do that every day. It's more of a testing purposes, complaints. Somebody, what my bill seems a little too high. We'll go out, exchange their meter, test that one, and if it tests good within range, it goes back into the ground again, and as well as before changing out any other meters.
How often do you change out the meters?
That's done. It all depends on how many work orders are generated through.
What's the average more or less?
They could be anywhere from, I'm going to say maybe 10 to 30 a month. Yeah, it's quite a bit depending on how you find them. Of course, the meter readers are usually the ones that will, let us know, or the machine will tell you, it's the wrong reading or whatever, and we pick them up that way.
Just a quick question.
Yes,
in
sir.
the event that the meter's not reading correctly, right? You find out that it's not reading correctly because you've gone out and checked it out, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at that point, if it wasn't reading correctly, then how do we recuperate?
We adjust their bill by average in prior months.
We go by an average then? I see. Okay.
Any other questions? Go ahead. That's it, all right.
Yes. What do we start off with the water plant, chief?
Yes.
Okay. too, well,
Go ahead.
yeah, we didn't really do, everything pretty much, stayed the same there.
Yeah, that was not major changes there.
Yes,
Water plant.
yes, water plant.
Page 153.
Okay. In water plant, everything basically stayed the same as the exception of the, line item, 56,630, 4622, under water towers. There was a $250,000, that we asked for, and that's basically for, repairs that need to be done to the water tower. This is the north water tower. It's basically for painting, the sandblasting, valves, inspections need to be done to that water tower to keep it in compliance.
When's the last time we did some work on that?
Mayor, I want to say
That long, huh?
it's been a couple of years. I know that they did some work on the ladder, and they did some other stuff on it. I'm gonna say maybe about 4 or 5 years back.
Yeah, because there was a rust and we had to take care of it.
Yes,
and there was
ma'am.
some painting
Yes.
that got
Yes,
done.
now, this is something that we haven't really budgeted for. We hadn't had it on the budget. So I don't know if this is something you might want to look like, that maybe taking it off this year. But next year, this would be something that,
That must be done. In your assessment, I don't want to get to a crisis and we don't have the wherewithal. So if you look at it now, is there some portion that can be funded? Let's say we're not going to paint it, and based on requirements by the state of how we maintain the tower, is there something that we can do today? And then the next year we do another part of it if we can't do the whole 250? Or is this a project that says, you know what, we're gonna scrape it, take care of the rust, and paint it, it's gotta be
I
done?
think basically that's the way it is, Mayor. We go out for one whole bid, and it's like a whole package type thing. It is, this covers the sandblasting, any gauges, valves, of course, you know, metal fixtures, ladders, the catwalk up there, anything needs to be repaired at that point to keep us in compliance, as well as the inside.
And that's my concern, compliance.
Yes.
Compliance and safety when we're working with
Yes.
our water supply. So I guess through your assessment, you know, we may not need to do it this year, but next year for sure. You know, is there any possibility, the way that you've seen the condition, should we have exceptionally dry weather, it's going to crack and we're going to, so thin, this is gonna happen? I mean, are you able to assess that, or somebody tell us you need to do something within the year, or else, you know, you might face this?
There are some other, how do I say, issues that would kind of come with this, as I know that we have some problems with the southeast tower, and about not being able to fill it up and stuff like that. I believe we have I read somewhere, we had a 5-year plan to come up to compliance with some of these plants.
Okay.
Now, my understanding is, and I'm not exactly 100% sure, but Ronnie might be able to help me up on that one, but I believe there is depending on the outcome of this plant, some of these plants may be redone or maybe taken down and placed to bring up new ones. So at this point, you know, it's always what happens, and we may not even end up using that money at all. But we wouldn't have to use it as far as to repair, I think.
The state comes out with they do their inspection, give you, okay, tell us what you're gonna do. We gave them a 5-year plan. So we're good for this year, and I think we're good, for next year.
Probably también,
I mean,
yeah.
and then you're gonna have to, but, we have one assessed by another engineer from up north, and I think McCray did it. And one of them is $500,000 to fix.
Yes.
And so when you're dealing with these tanks that are not even working now because of the issue you have, you know, what do? You put $500,000 per tank, or you tear them down, build one, new one? Because the one in San Antonio is very tough to stay there because of the residents that are around there. It's, you know, it's too congested. So we bought some time from the state by sending the letter, trying to see if this thing gets settled. Something's gonna have to be done once the lawsuit's settled over here, and see what it is, and maybe the option is just to tear them both down and build one. And, you know, but we don't know until that.
Well, I guess lawsuits being what lawsuits can be, you know, we may be at this for several more years. Right. And if we've only bought ourselves a couple of 2 years left on the extension, I think we need to have a contingent plan if we're gonna continue using this. And if we're talking $500,000 or $250,000, the last thing I want to be faced with is you gotta do something immediately, and we haven't even planned for it. So if it has to be done, what do we need to be planning today in the several scenarios? And is there anything that we can do in anticipation with a thought that, hey, we don't know when that's gonna do, we know what we have right here, that's our situation today. Is there anything that needs to be in compliance today based on what's happening out there?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're saying that today we can rest assured that in this next coming year, nothing's gonna happen that we need to act on financially, okay?
They'll be throwing out another letter. TCQ does that yearly, but, you know, we did already address it, and that's what they want you to do. They give you a letter, and, you know, this is, you address it, and then you say, okay, you know, about 5 years or 3 years, you know, but they want you to start budgeting in, start thinking about it, because they're major expenses. So it's never from 1 year to the next, and I don't think you're there yet. I think you're still about 2 years away.
So maybe what we document for us, for purposes of TCQ, we've been discussing this, is for the minutes to reflect. It's been discussed, you know, we understand that these are possibilities, and we're still feel we have, we're aware, and we're still thinking we've got some time to address. And I think for the purposes of us, we are taking action by discussing it, assessing it, and saying the recommendation is to wait. Okay.
Okay, on page 156, we have our capital outlay for the water plant. And basically, the only thing we're asking for is a pickup truck for the department and a 4-inch backflow preventers for the domestic use of the water plant. Now, these backflows, this is something that we have to replace this year. As to, they're I don't know how many years old already. It seems that every time we just get them out to have them tested, they're getting weaker and weaker, so we had to tighten up more of those valves to be able to keep those backflows working, you know, to hold the pressure. So this is something we're gonna have to be replacing this year. And as far as the pickup truck, we have right now 4 vehicles at the water plant. The one that we're proposing to buy will be replacing an old unit 278, which is an 01 Crown Victoria. I believe that one has like over 170,000 miles on it. And that's what we're proposing to replace if we do get one truck. That covers a water plant there, ma'am. And then, so water distribution. Do you have any questions or anything else?
Any questions on the water plant?
No questions.
One question real quick, man.
Yes, sir.
As far as the water rights, we budgeted $1,000 last year, and I think it's requested by the department, but it wasn't used. What is that money for? 090.9899.
I didn't know you all had that budget, but we spoke with, this is irrigation district number 2. Every time you have a subdivision, and you exclude it from the irrigation district. And then the city can buy those water rights. So what you do is they don't sell it one-on-one. It's like 50 acre feet or half acre foot per water right. Now, you buy it from them, and then the city has them. You should always try to get those. I remember, I'm not sure if it was Javier or the previous planner. Oh, Dan, we went into, we got all the subdivisions, and then we started doing what needed to be done to get those water rights. And honestly, every subdivision and the irrigation district will give you 2 years. So we went back 2 years, and we got all the subdivisions. We had everything to go, and maybe that's what that was for. I don't know.
What's next, Chief?
Go ahead, Ramiro, on the.
Yes, sir. Okay, and, water distribution, I think everything pretty much, stayed the same there.
Collection?
I'm sorry, what?
Sewer collection, the next item?
Yeah, no, I got falta el capital outlay, chief, over here with the, distribution.
Let me just go back on that one.
Okay.
In your professional services, we had an actual of 2012, 2013 of 1,900. Actual in 2013-14 of 806. We currently are requesting 8,000 recommended. You wanted a budget currently 6,000. We've only expended 38. What are these professional services? Why have they increased by a huge percentage in such short time?
Line item is that, ma'am?
It is not, I line up 6130.55 under professional services and other services. The total, actually it's training, I'm sorry, it's training.
Travel and training?
Total, I'm looking at the total. There's one line item that has skewed this quite a bit.
Page 157, right, Mayor?
Yeah, I'm looking at, if you look at your totals for 2013, 2014, and 2015 current, there's been a lot of increases from $135 to $3,100, and now we're asking for 34, 7,000 when we had 1,200 on travel and training. Just kind of talk to me on those, what those seems to be what you're trying to accomplish with that.
The travel and training?
And that's probably the biggest item that's increased from all of them. They're all increased, but that one seems significant.
Yes, that one is basically for the training purpose of the employees.
Okay, yes.
It's classes they need to pick up, either to, I guess, move up their licenses, depending on what category they're at, whether it's a D to a C, C to a B, or B to an A.
Is everybody that needs to have the licensing in place already? You're just trying to
it's
help
for
promote
maintaining their licenses.
And so how many people would you be including the 7,500 that we weren't doing before?
It varies every year, Mayor. Lo que pasa es que not everybody's license expires on the same year.
So you're trying to make sure those that have licenses get renewed before they expire?
Yes, sometimes.
Okay.
Like next year, it may be a lot lower because nobody's licenses are expiring.
Okay, I got
within
you.
next year, so it might be lower. Next year, a little bit higher because then they start coming.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. On the capital items for water distribution, we have one Chevy Silverado with tow package that we're asking for, and just a cutoff zone. The Chevy Silverado that won't be replacing the unit number 231. It's a 2006 F-150. That one has about 110,000 miles on it. But that one has been constantly having a lot of problems with the AC, The motor, for some reason, they haven't been able to find what can't keep it from trembling. It's just, we're thinking maybe heads or, you know, it's been overheated a couple of times. So that might be an issue with the motor itself, as far as the, as well as the, differential has like a little grinding sound when it's running. But it's an old truck. It's good. We've gotten a lot of use out of it.
What year is it?
It's a 2006 F-150. And that's a unit. Distribution. Any questions on anything like that one?
Any other questions? Go ahead.
Okay. Sewer collections. Everything pretty much stayed the same as, let's see here. Capital items for this one is, this was gonna be two 4-inch Gorman rump pumps, and those are to replace the 2 pumps at lift station number 7. These 2 pumps that are gonna be replaced, they're pretty old, and, you know, they need to be replaced now, before we have any type of problems out there. And some of these, the pumps that are existing right now, they're pretty old, and they're pretty hard to, the parts are hard to kind of come by. They're pretty expensive when we do have to do repairs to them, so it'd be a good idea to replace those, and later on we may not find the parts for them and have to do some maybe emergency purchases for those. And we're also budgeted for a water pump. This water pump is for the old Vector. The old Vector has a pump that's been, we repair it, and we go out and use it, it breaks down again, do some other minor repairs to it, use it, breaks down again. Just like repair, use, break, repair, use, break. So we're proposing to repair it, not repair, but to buy the actual, the water pump in itself, and then be able to use that one now to jet and hydro excavate at the same time also, and put that one into a working condition again.
Was it out of, I guess, how old was it? It was definitely out of warranty?
That was the first Vector truck that we bought, Mayor. I don't really know what year the Vector truck is.
But isn't not one that had any kind of warranty at this point?
No.
Okay.
That one's very much outlived its warranty.
Okay.
The jetter hose is still working fine, and the employees still use that to clean out the sewer mains and everything. The only thing that's not working is the vacuum pump, which is the water pump on it, and this will help us out when we have more than one area to take care of. And the other is the 2 odor control filters. We have already purchased 2, I think, last year, and those were placed at lift stations 5, which is right across, right in front of the new fire station. We were having a lot of problems with odor, and people were complaining. As soon as we installed one of those filters in there, it just eliminated completely. They did very good. So we put one there, and on lift station 19, I believe. It's the one on Cesar Chavez and Sam Houston, yes. And that one worked very well. So these other 2 that we're proposing to buy, we want to put on lift stations number 2 and number 6. It's the lift station on Nolana, right across the Delias, Tamales, and lift station number 6 is the one on Sioux Road and Cesar Chavez. That one, if you go by there, sometimes you can pick up a very strong.
That one at the recycling center has a lot of smell as well.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Let me ask you this,
Yes, ma'am.
how long does that filter last? Because at Sam Houston and Cesar, it's back. So what is this filter, what's the life expectancy of this filter? Because if it runs out, I'd like for us to get enough to be able to replace through the year, because that really affects a great area of residents in,
I remember reading some literature on it, Mayor, but I don't recall. I can get that for you if you'd like. But at the moment, I don't recall.
do you remember when we placed that one? I know, Mr. Cruz, you were one of the ones that had looked into it and recommended. Do you know how long that was?
Yeah, I think so, the filters?
Depending, you know, on the
I know that the lift station over there in front of the.
and it's gonna be different because, you know, obviously the higher the concentration, the filters work harder. It has a pump, vacuum.
I don't recall exactly how they are running, if they're just some type of, just drop-ins or if you have to do some type of installation to get them to work down there. I don't know exactly how those work. I was talking to some of the employees, but once we got that one installed, the one over by the lift station, I said it did a tremendous job. It just completely eliminated the odor.
But it's come back.
Over on Raul Longoria? Or are we talking about the station?
Well, I think both of them. When we, well, I mean, the firefighters are the best to tell you, but I believe that even the north side, I know for sure that other one, it's like nothing ever happened. Please do, because I do want to invest in that, because that is one of the biggest complaints that folks have over there. I mean, we're talking people with headaches, people.
Yes, yes, Mayor.
I mean, it affects them.
I'll look into that and get you some more information on that if you'd like, Mayor.
And then I do want to suggest the one on First Street as well. I've had some folks, and that, anybody who drives up that way, you get it in when the southern wind is blowing. So that's another one. I don't know how many that are within residential areas are doing that, but those for sure have been complained about. And now, I know that we, Mr. Cruz, we had long time ago discussed that all of this would be resolved by.
We have the project ready. We're just waiting for funding on this cycle. It's on the
Okay.
It's on there. They'll come up with the ratings, and you know we'll have to do all that deal to Austin to see if we can move it up. And since we have,
So it's still there. It's
yes.
just that
Yes.
we don't know how they're going to fund. Is that what it
Right.
is?
They're going to come up with the funding, and of course, in the city it says
Has to be ready for the
you
matching.
know, match. What is going to be the match? Of course, we'll try to get as much as we can. But that's coming up in this year.
Okay, good.
And that one and the other one, which you got
Yes.
also. And there's one other. What's the other one? Oh, that's the line.
And when we say this year, you're talking before the end of the year?
Well, whenever the state throws it out, they usually do it in August, September.
Okay.
And then you start the invitations, remember, we have to go
Yes.
talk to them, and we do all the stuff, and then they'll start the paperwork or whatever early next year, because you'll know the match.
First-
That's when people start dropping off.
Okay.
Now, that was the schedule last year and the year before. Things have changed at the state.
Okay.
The new administration came in. I'm not sure exactly. I know that it looks like it's better, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Now we deal with one person instead of all these other people. So, but we'll see how it comes up. It should be coming up pretty soon. That project will eliminate the Sam Houston Cesar Chavez. We really think so, because that is wrong, how long it takes for sewer to get to that. You know, you're getting it probably 2 days later. It's just getting there, you know. it's going all the way around the city, and so it's boiling. But,
So maybe, I'd like for us to consider if you have a sense of life expectancy, so that as it's wearing down, we're ready to replace or do whatever we need to do
I'll find out, Mayor.
for at
I'll
least
find
a
out.
year, so we know we're taking care of our folks over there.
Okay,
Okay?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Also, in the sewer collections department, I did a pay scale comparison. Actually, what I'm proposing is to basically bring up the entry level pay rate. And this is just for new hires, so nobody will be reclassified or anything. But on page 119, I don't know, do you all have book one?
I do.
Yeah, book one, page 119? Yes, sir. Notice where's on reclassification, the collection system operator with a no license or a level 1 D is he's job grade 201. His salary right now would start off with no license or a D license at $971. I'm proposing to just move it up to $10 an hour. And these increases in the rates, depending on the license, is basically, we need to be a little more competitive with some of the surrounding cities. We've had a lot of turnover in this department itself, as well as others, but we're taking it department by department. I believe last year water plant was done. This year I wanted to see if we can take care of collections. But yeah, we need to keep our rates comparable to other cities.
Been checking out other cities, más o menos, what they're paying these entry-level workers and so forth?
Yeah, if you look on the back of that page. Yes, 120.
Oh, okay.
If you look, you'll see what the other cities are paying with the same license and what we would be paying with the proposed pays.
And this goes hand in hand with what we discussed yesterday, that we need to create some scaling as we go years of service. We're losing a lot of employees in that department to other departments that houses paid. But what's happening also is that we are training them. They get an on-the-job training with us, getting the certifications, and then applying some.
Where they're stepping stone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my comment, that's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. If
Is
it's a parliamentary level, Ramiro, or is it retained? Because it might be the retention, we're training them and they're leaving, so I don't.
Yeah, but it'll kind of go hand in hand, because as they move up to a license, they'll get a little bit more, but as opposed to by the time, let's say they get a B license holder, will be getting about 1267. Other cities are they're at 13, 12, others 13. So we're pretty much putting them out there where it's comparable. A lot of people that are here will leave to other cities when they say, "That's good. If they pay me another $2-3 more, I'll leave." But they think about it twice when it's just another $1 more. It's not.
I have a question, Chief.
Yes.
Maybe you can answer this one. Like in the police academies, like for instance, if a municipality pays for your academy, you gotta at least give them 2 years of service for that municipality, right? Now, can we do something like that in reference to these people getting licenses? Because, I mean, basically what you're saying is they come here, they get their license, the city pays, obviously, for the license, and then they just get up and leave,
We have in the police department, we have a 3-year contract.
Okay.
Even though we're civil service, contract for 3 years, allows us to offer a contract to them that they leave within 3 years.
have, our HR department commissioner has been working on an incentive package for some of the employees. We've been working that for the past year or so. And incentive packages is, how can we retain them? Either increase their sick leave, increase their vacation, comp time. Some other people offer a one-day pay, we already offer a birthday off and stuff like that. So we're working on an incentive package that the HR department is working. Hopefully we get something within the next couple of, weeks here. But that's something that's been very challenging for us because, especially in his department, he's been losing a lot of personnel. The turnover rate is huge because that particular department, the job market is the fact, the more licenses you have, you can go in and get hired in the department with that particular pay. So we have worked on some sort of a contract kind of thing, but we're still running through legal. Hopefully we get something. We do it at the police department level. That's the only department that has it right now, but it's something that we can work on.
Is there an increase according to the licenses they're obtaining?
Excuse me?
Automatically, there's an increase according to the licenses they get?
Yes, ma'am, depending on the category, yes, level.
And the license is certification plus user service. So it's not like someone can get it just in 1 year. I mean, so that's part of that. And I think has been the challenge right there. But has done a great job so far trying to keep them there. We have employees that wanted to leave, but they're staying and so forth. So, I mean, we're just trying to work with what we have right now. So, and he came up with...
Another thing with the licensing is that when you lose an employee that has, let's say, a B license, let's say the B license, this was already into effect, a B license would be paying $12.67. When you want to go out and advertise, you want to reobtain somebody with a B license, not start all over. So what happens is, sometimes the pay that they're going to, as they're coming in, is not as appealing as somewhere else, because I'm just going to start here. And with my B license, when I can go work over there for $2 more, And what happens here, that when you acquire your first license, your basic D license, you have 3 years to move up to your C. And by the end of that time, you should acquire another 30 hours of classes and everything. And you go for your testing, and you acquire your C. And of course, there's a pay that comes with that. And then from there, you have to wait another 3 years to be able to move up to your B. It's not just a matter of, I got my C, let me go for my B. You have to have so many years of actual hands-on work at a water plant or wastewater plant or distribution system or collections in order to move up. You just can't go, I'm going to pay for the class and get my D license, move up to my C, and stuff like that.
That's why we're increasing the travel and training to an opportunity for the guys to have a personal development, ahead of them. You know what, there's travel and training, we're going to send you to that training. So we're doing that as well. That's why he's...
Yeah, I can see how it can be a little discouraging, because when you look at non-licensed to licensed, that's only an extra $200 a month. You know what I'm saying? And I think maybe where we're losing people is once they get licensed, we're not competing, and so I can see where the turnover rate would be.
This here, the pay, it'll be representative of another department. It's just kind of mirrored from what was done last year to what is here right now. So usually the departments, they're usually the same license, whether it's water or wastewater, it's just different level. They usually pay about the same. So, yeah, when you move up a little bit higher, when you have like a chief operator position, of course you have more responsibility, so you get a little bit more, But they tend to basically, water and wastewater, a B license usually pays the same, except it's a level 3 in wastewater.
We're having a hard time finding someone with that license, right?
Yeah.
Is it because there's not a lot of them, or is it because the pay's not there?
It's the pay. It's the pay. I mean, if you ask anybody, or the ones that are even actually leaving, why are you leaving? They tell you it's just the pay. It's not, they don't really wanna leave, because I've talked to them, I don't wanna leave, but it was, you know, the pay is just not there, you know.
Fire and police get assignment pay for certain positions that they do other than the regular duties, and that's one thing we're working with, different departments to see, is there any way that we can increase, if they need a specialized training or certificate other than the one that they need to do the job, we can give them an assignment pay. And we haven't had that here, so we're working on that also. You know, like the police department officers, if they're assigned to investigations, they get an additional $1,600. If they're assigned to a FTO training, they get additional $900. So we're trying to do that with all the other departments as to if they get a specialized training or certificate, can we, I mean, additional. I mean, our main thing is to keep them and retain them. So that's what we're trying to do, see how. But the bad thing about it is that, you know, there's just licenses that they need to do the regular job. So. Anything else there on sewer collection?
No, Chief, that should be it on
okay.
that one.
Let's go to sewer plant.
Yes, sewer, basically here in sewer plant, everything stayed the same, except over here on the line item 4660 on page 167.
Which is a 90,000.
Yes, Chief, and on this one, Chief, I think we could bring.
What was the repair for the manholes?
No, Chief, this was for the rental of the belt press. Remember the belt press we rented at a $15,000 rental fee per month, and we set aside for $15,000 for 6 months. I think we can knock off for maybe 3 months of fees off of this one.
So what would be your?
Half of that would be what, 45?
45. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, but I really don't. I was talking to the guys over at the water plant. I'm sorry, at the wastewater plant, and even if we had to rent it, at a long term, I don't see us renting it for maybe more than maybe 2 months, maybe 3 months at the most.
You want to elaborate on the bill press for the commission?
Yeah. This year, because of the rains that we've had, there's certain procedures that we have to do at the wastewater plant. We have to do what we call drying beds. We also have some drying containers, and those containers we transfer sludge into the waste sludge into the containers or into drying beds, let them dry, and then we pick up the remaining sludge and have it transported. But of course, in order for the sludge to dry, because you need the heat, the sun, you know, or the drying beds will dry. But when it's raining, you're never going to have the same, you know, it just keeps getting wet, and it's a long thing. And with these rains, what happens is that our water plant starts to kind of fill up with sludge because we're not doing beds anymore. So at a certain point, either we rent some type of a vacuum service, a Rosa vacuum, or you know, to get some of that sludge transported. And so this year, we were at a point to where we had to utilize a belt press, and basically it's a machine. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a belt press, 2 belts with sludge running in the center. They just press together, and it just kind of just wrings everything. And comes out semi-dry at the other end, and you're just constantly throwing out waste and hauling it away. So you're bringing your levels down to what they should be, as opposed to just not doing anything and having all of a sudden some type of unauthorized discharge and possibly get pretty hefty violation. You know, because some of that stuff sometimes ends up running into the outfall and straight into the stream in the back, and so, you know, that. Yeah, we had to go out this year and rent it, because of the rains. We still have it. It's $15,000 a month though. You know, so even if for 2 months,
constant.
Great to one day be able to buy one, but they're about 250,000. But it,
Is this, and this would come from the,
wastewater plant, huh?
yeah, but we have enough in the reserve to cover this? From the enterprise fund? In our totals, it says it's 250,000. It's something that would not necessarily be a capital improvement, but rather we have enough in reserves to be able to invest. It's a healthy fund, is it not? Okay. Okay.
250,000 is what prices on a belt press.
For a year to rent it, it costs 180. Wow.
You wouldn't really, we still utilize our drain beds, and we have two containers that fill up and then just, the pressure just pushes the water out, and those are hauled away. And then new ones come in, same thing. But the belt press is something that you're gonna end up using eventually when, we can't keep up with the actual capacity of the plant. Eventually, we're gonna have to, maybe possibly one day, have to buy one. And what's really gonna is the rains. I mean, if we get rains like this, the good thing is stop, but if we would've continued, we pretty much would've been in a pretty good bind. But that machine, it's out there. If y'all would like to go out and look at it one of these days, it's out there so you can stop by and look at the way it works.
Our lease on that one is for how long? For as long as we think we need it, or we
It's for 1 month, Mayor. 1 month.
It's
I
a
think
month
this
to
is
month.
15,000.
Yeah, but it's a month-to-month kind of.
Oh, yes. Well, you can rent it. You can rent it for 2 or 3 months, whatever you want. But right now, we're just kind of taking it on a monthly thing. I talked to the guys, see how we're doing. So looks like everything is coming down slowly, but gradually. But it's coming down. So, we may not even have to rent it another month, or maybe we will have to. It all depends on how much we're taking in.
Will be the dip service real quick.
Where are you, Chief? Oh, the last.
That 76,000 is the payment they used to have, right?
The other departments, that's the our insurance, the utility portion of the insurance. Now, the one I would like to zero out is at 9,297. That I budgeted in utility, and that's mainly for the credit card fees. So that can be zeroed out. The rest,
It's just what you have typically.
and then the same thing with the sanitation. Sanitation is part of insurance and audit, their share of the.
Can I just ask you a question on one, this is general liability insurance, 6430.5560. You had budgeted for 15,000. We have a projected year of 18. We've only done 13. Why would your projection is 18? Is that generated as you're going along, or is it because we generated it that?
The system generates it
Okay.
On the year-to-date.
Are we looking to get, I know you went back to 15, but I'm just kind of curious why we're projecting 18.
System?
Right. Why would the system do that?
Well, if we pay quarterly,
Okay.
the system is recognizing based on through June 30th.
Okay.
So
So do you think we're going to reach the 18 as it's projecting?
I don't think so, Mayor.
Okay.
Because those are pretty much set.
Okay. Because the system does that a bit,
Yes.
quite a bit. Mhm. How about if you look at the projection, 6420, under purchases and technical, was that like because of the circumstances, we had to have a higher amount? If we look at the current, the projected, and then what you're actually allotting for? Yeah, number 6420.3499, over here in purchase and professional services. Do you see that difference? We said it would be 17. Year-to-date's been 36,000. It's projecting 48, but you're only budgeting for 17. Why? Was that like a one-time deal or something that happened? Okay.
I can look into it.
Yeah, look into that one, because it's a big disparity. Anything else on the organizational expenses or anything? Chief, I think that's the last thing on here.
Yes.
Nothing else? Any questions before we close this? Thank you, Mr. Ramirez, on that portion. And if there are no other questions when it comes to, or statements regarding on the budget, I'd like to go ahead and close, ask for a, yes.
Sanitation?
Oh, okay.
No, I just wanted to go over that.
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I just thought you talked a lot yesterday. I thought we were done.
We didn't discuss it yesterday? No, not all of it.
I will not close the meeting. Let's go to your sanitation. What page are we gonna be looking at on the?
93. Or 91.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners, in our budget here, we made some changes. Some are drastic, some are pretty expensive. I'd like to start with a standby pay. I budgeted $4,000. In emergencies, it's very hard on Saturdays, Sundays, late nights, early mornings. I have a lot of problems trying to get a hold of my workers. And Juan Soto and I are normally out there, but sometimes we need assistance, with a backhoe or whatever, and or a garbage truck or a garbage truck. And I'm not certified as a CDL driver, so that's why I put there $4,000 to for emergency purposes. If we need, have people out there and stand by at all times, and that way I can just rely on that person to be there with us to take care of the issues. And you go to page 94. Here, I talked to Mr. Hussein. My public works coordinator is going over his minutes, and he's costing the city a little bit of money. And our radios, most of our radios are run down. They charge us, I think it's $85 or $75 an hour to look at them, and we're not even sure if they work or not. So I'm requesting, Hussein and I talked, and there's some walkie-talkies that have a 30-mile radius. And I think those are pretty much what we need, is just to communicate when the trash cans are not out, or if there's vehicles or something obstructing the containers when we don't pick them up. And have a good communication with our workers. And the other one, we ordered 200 90-gallon containers. 100 is for residential accounts, and the other one's for recycling. The other 100 is for recycling.
Also, today I got several calls on, I don't know if the younger people are playing cranks or something, but there's several dumpster containers missing from some residences. I think we got like 6 calls today. And I'm trying to look into it. I'm looking into it as to see what's going on. Either, I don't think they're stealing them. I think just moving them around. I know last year we had some that were moved away and they just, lit them up and burn them up and we had to go pick them up. But I don't know what's going on right now. So I'll look into it and I'll advise you all tomorrow, see as to what's going on there. And the other is our front loader. Right now it's broken. I have good news. It cost us $1,600, a little over $1,600 to fix it. And hopefully it'll be out tomorrow. So right now, you might be getting commercial calls that, we're emptying them out their containers instead of, hauling them over or whatever. So hopefully, starting tomorrow, we'll go back to normal duties and get that done. And a new front loader is $240,000. And that's all we have. We just have one front loader and one side loader. So if they go down, we're gonna have problems with our schools and with our commercial accounts. Our schools are picked up 3 times a week. So, thank God right now we don't have too much traffic with our schools, but once it starts, we're gonna have issues if it breaks down again. It's, I believe it's an 07, the vehicle, and the mileage I can't get because it was at the shop. But, it's gotten its wear and tears, and I'm very concerned because I don't want to be in this predicament again. I remember during the school year, our schools were calling that there was a lot of maggots, bad smell, because when we were taking them out with our grappler, milk would come out and food and all that. So, that's an issue. But hopefully, we can work that out. On the front loader is very, very critical to our department. Also, I'm also ordering 12 3 cubic yards, 5 6 cubic yards, and 5 8 cubic yard metal containers. These are for our commercial accounts, and we're trying to keep up right now. Like we finished all of our commercial accounts, and there's some changes made. Some are upgrading, some are upgrading their containers. So we don't have any extra containers, so we need to buy some so that we can be able to accommodate the requests that we're getting. And the other one is the landfill. I put $130,000. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. And hopefully, Chief can get the permit so we can burn quite a bit of it, or hopefully most of it, or all of it. So we'll see how that goes. If not, if we can burn as much as we can, if we do get the permit, and then maybe mulch whatever's left there at the landfill, because I want to start separating the debris, the metal, and the garbage. So we need to have clean garbage. We can just go throw mixed garbage at the landfill. So, well, the landfill we can, but I'm trying to clean up and organize the landfill to where we can separate, and it'll be a lot cleaner. So if we can clean it, we can start that process. That's one of the reasons why I have Eric in charge of the landfill right now, helping me out with it, so that we can start designating areas to where we can separate our debris. And that's pretty much it on the sanitation. Any questions?
At some point, we'll talk about the collections. It's not part of this, but maybe at some future meeting, you can give us an update on all the accounts that are delinquent. We can put on the agenda. I'd like to know what progress
I think that so far we don't have any delinquent accounts, right? I don't think we do, Mayor.
You've already updated all your delinquent accounts from the past?
Yes.
They've been liquidated? People paid up?
Oh, no, those accounts, we're pretty close to those. Lori's handling that.
Okay, so at a next city agenda, you can.
Let me see, I'll work something, I'll gather something for y'all.
Yeah, I want to know where those are at.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions for Mr. Gonzalez on these items? All right.
Mayor, can I say something?
Yes, of course.
Yesterday, y'all mentioned that y'all wanted to know the years of our vehicles.
Oh, yes.
And the mileage on them. And I just want you all to really look at it, because a lot of the money here, the upgrade we did is due to the wear and tear of our vehicles. You know, they're pretty much run down, Mayor. They've exceeded their capacity.
You have a cost of what I asked was the cost of how much we're investing in repairs.
Repairs and all that.
That's what I'm interested in too.
In what, Mayor?
The repairs?
Yes. And that's the reason why we went up a little bit there. But the vehicles are pretty much run down there. It's in the 180,000, 200,000 area. And it just happens that I had it all done, but I had a lot of complaints today. I was going all over the place today, especially with those containers, trying to figure out what was going on. But it's something that we have we have a 1994, two 1995s, a 2000, a 2002. The two newest that we have is a 2011 and 2013. Those are the, you know, and normally life expectancy, you know, with the wear and tear of our vehicles, it's only a 7-year life expectancy. Some are 20-some years old, some are 18, some are 16, you know, and over 180,000 miles. Some are 200,000 miles. You know, this is something that I wanted you all to look at and take into consideration, you know, what we have there. And I know my department gets criticized quite a bit, and you know, rightfully so. But, you know, sometimes it's hard. You're out in the field, they break down, we fall behind. What else can we do? You know, sometimes it's a real quick fix, Robert, that we can take care of it right away. But then there are times it takes 2-3 days. And then there's times where we have to get outside repairs, and that'll take a little longer. You know, and these are the areas. It's not that we're not looking at what we're doing. We know exactly what's going on in the city. We know exactly. It's like with the potholes. You know, we know where the potholes are at. The thing is that we don't have the personnel, one thing, to cover the whole city, and I have to move people around from our other divisions to help us out. And when I do that, well, we fall behind on the other divisions that are moving people around. You know, this is something that I want you all really to look at, and it's not that our department's not trying. We're trying the best that we can, and we're improvising with what we have. You know, it's a challenge just to keep up with those trucks, you know, on a daily basis, you know, maintaining them. But, you know, we're not complaining. You know, we do what we have to, and we're happy with what we have. You know, it's just that I just wanted you all to understand why we are falling behind. And so y'all can see an overall, you know, picture as to what's there. But we'll continue working, and we'll continue doing the best that we can. Yes, sir.
One of the things that I would like to see, twofold. One, how much would it cost us to upgrade our fleet? And two, would it be beneficial to outsource? And we need to compare, because if it's not gonna be
right,
worth us updating.
I'm working on that, and I'm hoping that I can get a PowerPoint in restructuring our route, our quadrants, how we can better it, you know, or have better service for our community. Maybe break it down like our garbage trucks. Our garbage trucks, we only have 2. Chief and I have already discussed this a little bit. But when I want to start doing it, 1 breaks down or 2 breaks down, and oh, there we go again. But what I'm trying to do, like right now, on the south side, it's on Mondays. On the north side, it's on Tuesdays. So what I want to do, like on Mondays, we can manage with 6 trucks. Tuesdays, we can't because it's a larger area. So what Chief and I discussed was that maybe break it into 3 quadrants, into three routes, and just send flyers to the north side from, I believe, from Nolena north to Owasso, all that area there, and make another collection on Wednesdays. That way we can only use, you know, keep using just 6 trucks, because on Tuesdays we need 8 trucks at least out there to finish the routes. And if 1 breaks down, there we go. We have to go into the next day, and of course the community's calling, and rightfully so. So, you know, this is something the Chief and I have discussed already, and we're looking into. And another one, maybe like Mayor Pro Tem said, put into 4 quadrants and rotate. I'm working on it right now, but I'll present it to you all. I'm still trying to figure out something out with and use the same vehicles that we're using. What I want to do is shorten the routes. That way we have less trucks to use. And then we one breaks down, well, we at least have 2 or 3 spares that, you know, are in standby where we can offset the vehicle that's down. So this is something that I'm working on, Mayor and Commissioners, and I will present it to you all. Like I said, right now I'm just having trouble because they keep breaking down and I really can't present it to you and then can't do it. But I'm working on it right now. I'm working on these things right now, and Chief and I have a lot of good communication, and we're working on it.
Sanitation is an enterprise fund? Okay. Any other questions, any other comments?
Good, Mayor.
Before we close this,
Uh-huh.
would you want the mayor and commission to also work on some dates, Sandra, for the next budget meeting? We need to complete this budget process by between September 10th and 15th. That's what our finance department is set.
Okay.
Gives enough leeway and time for us to do that. I also would like to just say that the current budget as it is, as presented yesterday and today, we still have to make close to a little bit over $2 million of cuts.
Sure.
So the American Commission would like would like to see some direction as to what projects that you all heard yesterday and today, or we can concentrate and make sure that we can focus on the better priorities. So any recommendations from the American Commission?
We can. All right, if there's no other comments or questions, I'd like to go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourning our meeting from yesterday at 7:11. I'd now like to go ahead and I lost my words. Call back into order, out of recess and back into open session for the work session regarding A, presentation, discussion, and possible action on utility road and drainage projects. Chief Gonzalez.
Yes, Mayor Commission. This is a project that I've been working on for quite a while already, and Ronnie has a presentation. He's going to discuss some of the new improvement project on the streets. I know that that was done a couple of years ago, but he has an updated one that he wants to discuss, and some other things that we have discussed already. Mr. Chris Vela, advisor, we met with him yesterday, and we're on track with him as well. What we need to do with the issuance of those funds coming up as well. So,
Mayor, Commissioner, what I did here is update the last one. I think was 2013, I think, or maybe 2014, over a year ago. So I updated it. Obviously, there's a lot more ones now. If you look at the spreadsheet that I have, I broke it down for the new commission. On top, the first sheet where you see where the first black line is, all the streets above there are streets without curb and gutter. In other words, they're 22-foot streets, no curb and gutter in the city limits of San Juan. Then after that is streets that have curb and gutter that need to be paved, like the ones that have been paved recently. Most of them have curb and gutter.
Can I stop you on that?
Sure.
I'm looking at the one that you just mentioned. What about the south part of Lucky Drive?
Lucky Drive?
Yeah, remember that section that we've
Well, it's not a
discussed?
dedicated street.
Well, we discussed we were gonna do something on that one.
We're putting sewer in the EDAP.
Okay, and we'd be able to pave at that time?
We'd have to get it dedicated because, see, I remember one time we talked about trying to get it to Urban County. Obviously, it doesn't qualify because it's not a subdivided piece of property. So we would need to get a right-of-way if it becomes a city street. Get a right-of-way from all the people there.
Okay.
And I know that the city did try it one time, but there was one or two people didn't want to participate.
Okay.
To do it correctly, you have to plat it. Everybody has to sign that plat.
Okay.
Or.
Because
you do it
we have a new
individually.
owner for the, that other part,
The big one?
the east side.
The east side,
Yeah.
okay.
But I think that we'd be willing to work.
We could entertain, start looking into that again.
I do want that to happen.
Dedicate a 50-foot street.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we can. And just to, we've got some folks in the audience, and I just wanted to go ahead and share, because I don't know if it's in here or not, but just to let you know, they talked about Kent Street and Kent Street, I had not ever heard of, that we actually have a Kent Street. And I think they've indicated that it's part paved, part gravel. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. And it's over next to Coyle Drive, and it's right behind the Dollar General. I wanted to give you a copy of that. And they've got a picture. I've got a picture. Okay. So it's not completed. I think it only goes up to a certain point, and then it just, there's nothing left. So I remember that we had, I said I wanted to make sure I mentioned it because I had not seen it in a, I don't think I've seen it in a plan before. Yeah, right behind, close to Business 83? Behind the dollar store, so it's, was not dedicated? It is, it is. Mhm. Okay. So I've made him aware so we can kind of put it in the list as well. Drainage, no drainage? No. You do have sewer connections, right? Sewer connections? It's just that there's no drainage or no street. Okay. Okay. All right, so let's look into that as well, where it falls and what.
Well, it'll fall on top without curb and gutter, and the way it is now. And then, of course, it could be, because if you look at those cost estimates, they are to put curb and gutter and drainage, not just pave. The only one that's on that list that's not that way is Cesar Chavez, which is Expressway 83 to 495. Mr. Cervantes has me to add that in there, and obviously at this point, even if we would do something, we wouldn't put curb and gutter because the county in 4 years is going to take care of it.
Okay.
Now the rest of them have curb and gutter, and their priority one is there's now out of those priority ones, there's some that are even a lot worse than others. You know, I had Javier's department help me out to go, since they're riding around, the inspectors, if they see a street, so we can put it in here and go look at it, and they identified some more that I put it in here.
What's that street as soon as you pass, the canal's no longer there, on Sioux Road, the very first street? Puerto Vallarta or?
Puerto Vallarta and Cancun, there's two, which is.
Off of Sioux Road,
Puerto Vallarta.
the very, very first road.
Puerto Vallarta, if you go around in Cancun, those are real.
Yes.
Those are real.
Where do you have, the, Capri subdivision? Oh, it's down here.
On page 3. The Capri is Pullen Hooper. We try to get that one into Urban County. It's on page 3. About
I think Hooper's the one that's like, there's not much there. I mean, it's just completely gone. The Salazar and the middle one are probably in the worst shape.
Some of those there, I contacted Urban County to get those labels qualified. And I told them, we could service ourselves. And then never done that before. So they're considering pushing that offer to get those labels to qualify.
Okay, and which,
Last year they didn't qualify.
yeah, we submitted it.
We tried this one, we tried San Houston.
Yes. I think San Antonio.
San Antonio. Didn't qualify.
But maybe with this request, they may qualify if they will allow us to do income services ourselves.
Mhm.
By the way this map here is The green is all that needs to be paved. The magenta is streets that have been paved by the city, and the light blue are the ones that the county's done. And this is as far as it's paved today.
How many, Ronnie, how many miles of street that needs to be paved? Or more or less, ballpark figure? 10?
Well, you take out school and go down, you take out the long and San Antonio and Nebraska. All this right here is a quarter of a mile. So this is 1 mile, 2 miles, this is about 2.5 miles.
It's like 8 to 10, isn't it, Bernie? Like 8 to 10?
We also tried, I think, to qualify one time here, because if you look at the downtown area, we did all this paving and all the drainage, but this is the only area right here that's still pending, which is Iowa and these streets right there. And the down, and Standard here are, and this little room by the park, and the downtown. They're all in here. At the very back, the last page, I put
Page 5?
page 5, at the very bottom are the attachments, which is, Nebraska's a big one, so I put it separately from 12th Street all the way to Hall Acres, and broke it down because you have two areas, some areas without curb and gutter, you have areas with curb and gutter. So it's broken down. Next one's San Antonio, then the Chaparrales, as we've been discussing, the drainage over here on Sergeant Trevino, and those attachments are individually priced out.
On
And
San Antonio Road, there's a section that does have curb and gutter.
Yes. And we have a map of San Antonio there. You can see where it is and what needs to be done. The first map past the,
Okay, the funding that we've already approved is for the section you have here, from Ridge to Moore. The 919.
yes.
Okay, so the section in San Antonio you're looking at is, it's the projects we already have, is what you're saying. Oh, okay.
That's added at the very back.
Did you do the San Antonio from Ridge to Sam Houston?
No, I didn't.
Cemetery, I think, Cemetery Road.
Was it already in the original? You had it in the original.
Is it, you said it's in here?
Well, the cost estimate that he gave us for San Antonio was all the way to Cemetery, but from Moore to Cemetery was just repaving that street, not widening.
Right. But from 7th to Ridge, it's here on page 4.
Okay.
And then on page 4, the black line down, those are subdivisions that we call priority 2. They're not bad, but you know, just you have a cost what they would need to be done to be paved. If you all go that route, you see what it is. But those are not that bad. They're not as bad as priority 1. They can wait. Because you have a lot of priority 1s. One of them that we put in here now is Oblate. Because I know I've been mentioning to some of the commissioners that you're losing Oblate. It's getting worse and worse and worse, and that's a major street for the Basilica. And so it went to priority 1 now, that one. lot of streets to look at. Like,
So you're looking overall, what is the overall priority one?
cost,
6 million,
6 million.
including the 2 million or no?
Yeah, including the non-curb.
2.7 and the 3.7, so it's 6 million is a priority one. Leaving about 1.4 million, right? Because we've already funded, just the San Antonio one.
Not Seventh to Ridge.
Right.
San
No,
Antonio's on
but
here.
if I'm looking at, I'm following you on your numbers, you have 6.4 on page 5, I mean 4 of 5. And then you, on page 5 of 5, you have the 1.4, which is your category 2. And then 4.5 is just what's below the black line, is that correct? Okay, and of that one, we know we've already allotted at least the 919.
And,
And which one? And the Chaparral?
well, that's the one you all were looking at, either option 1 or option 2,
Okay.
which are on that bottom.
Okay, so there's funding already proposed, we would just need to look at an increase if we want to go with a second option. So it wouldn't be 4.5, it would be, what, another 2.5 million aside from this, that would be in a different category.
To take this out?
I'm just, in other words, you put this separately, right? Because they're independent projects by themselves. And 2 of them do qualify as one, a priority. And that's the Dominic Lane to Hall Acres, a southern part of, right? As a separate project, which we would add to the 6.7. I'm just trying to get how many are in project, in one. And so you add another one, so you're looking at, you know, like 8 million if we add those, that are all priority ones, correct? Okay. And then 1.4 is priority 2. Now, as we look at the priority ones, I remember one time we talked about priority 1 and even levels within the priority ones, right?
Yeah, you got some real bad priority ones.
Right.
Almost beyond repair.
Right, and so how did you identify those?
I didn't. What I
Okay.
did is, for example, is like, let's go to Puerto Vallarta.
Okay,
Is, you cannot do what we did in the other streets anymore, because there's no caliches
Right.
anymore. So what we updated a little bit is threw in like 3 inches of caliche. And the whole street, we know not all areas. So trying to bring some more caliche in there, just for the budget, to try to get the street. Then, you know, you gotta be, you don't wanna raise it too much, because you got curb and
Yes.
gutter. But that's all we can do at this point, because we don't know what we have. And we don't know what's gonna be paid. Like some of those areas, you're down, you know, into dirt, you've lost all the caliche, you've lost everything.
To reestablish a subgrade.
Right.
Yeah.
Usually what we do, Commissioners, is get everything out, move it out of the way, redo the subgrade, put everything back, put 1% lime if you have enough caliche and a little bit of the hot mix broken up, put it right back down, put oil and then 1.5 inches of paving. For residential, that'll work great. The reason I try to take out the larger streets, like Hall Acres,
Right.
or those streets.
it's a project in its own, yeah.
Because you have trash, big trucks, you know. Residential is different than the outside. And for example, I did at Alameda, but only the first 700 feet from Veterans East. And if you look at that section, the big trucks are tearing it up. You know, you have bad drainage, but there is, you can see that intersection, and then the entrance to HEB, and the one to Walgreens. But that area there is getting real bad too. About, I think it's 700 feet. What I, yeah. but those streets would have to be handled a little different. If you do with a residential street, you're gonna get that back pretty soon. I mean, it'll last, don't get me wrong, but it's extra work on that. But that's the way we address some of the streets with just throw in some caliche in there.
Now, one of the things that we approved, we had discussion and we approved with the bond that's coming, that should be funded sometime in November, was the prospect of purchasing a paver machine. I know that last night you spoke about one that doesn't pave but just fills up potholes. And so that's the discussion I want to know. If we're looking at the severity of these streets and our investment, I mean, I can see that category 2 would be the ones that we could start, in a way, a maintenance plan if we got the paver, so we don't get to the point where some of these are, in looking and trying to address some of those issues. Some of these priority ones that you have identified, because you're going to have priority 1A and priority 1D or whatever, could some of these, in your estimation of the quality of or the level of deterioration, could some of these be addressed even with a paver machine, if we were to invest in one with the materials to try to hold them for the next round of funding?
When you say a paver machine, you're not talking about a pothole.
I'm not talking potholes, I'm talking paver.
When a paver goes through there, it has to be a complete street, no potholes. Now, there's some cities that they'll go patch the potholes.
Okay.
Real good, not just patch it real good, then pave right over.
Okay.
But you can't have a bunch of them, you can have a few, to do it, and that will work.
Okay.
And you'll see the streets in other cities, they start getting higher and higher and higher, and all of a sudden they're like this, like 495 in McAllen, it's like this. They just pave it so many times, and they scrape the curb and gutter, and they come with a cutler. Well, sooner or later, you're too high. So, but in your case,
we're not there.
No,
we don't have that. We don't have that. We're not even close to that.
Like the streets that were paved about 8 years ago now, which are these right here, this right there. These were done with the county fund. They need maintenance now.
Right, exactly.
You haven't lost them yet. They're still good, but you'll see cracks, and and the ones the county did over here, this one.
Right.
That one. Those are the maintenance you need to. Even oil with sand on a crack will prevent water from going in there, and you don't form a puddle. Didn't break it forms something because you're going down to the base, not the hot mix. It's all the way down, unless it's that hot mix. But
so those are the ones that this would be beneficial for maintenance. Yes. So that make sure that we can at least, and let's say we did maintenance on the street, like the ones you identified. We're extending the life of those for about how much? 10 more years, without us having to be in a crisis like we are now with so many. And I think that, to justify the purchasing of such a machine, it's not only for maybe some that we could capture out of your one, if there's any at all, and if nothing else, for the investment to make sure we take care of the ones in the maintenance, so the city doesn't see this in 10 years, what we're having to face now. Everything's priority 1, Yes, yes, Yes.
You see it growing again, but right now you don't have no problem getting them. But that one would be perfect.
Right. Right.
They have to be like that. You can't use it
on some of these that we've identified.
Or like San Antonio or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then perceivably we definitely have established different levels of maintenance. One where the oil and that sand begins when you first start seeing the on-site, then the actual having to pave, and then there's just the reconstruction. And so I think as we look at this, is there anything at this point that we can, within, this budget, be able to implement without having, that's not gonna have to fall under a certificate of obligation because of the enormity of the amount of money that's needed? Be it that we invest in that when you talk about the oil, is that a machine? Is that something that you walk around doing, or?
It's a manual.
Okay.
It's a small little sprayer, you just go spray the oil, and then just put some sand on the crack.
Okay. So then it would be a matter of finding, how much materials you would need, what the machine would be materials, and identifying the areas that would be used. And then the machine that we are looking at, I think I can see where we would have definite use over time to invest in that so that we can take care of the streets that are identified as still that are in good condition, and we want to maintain them. I just think that's something we've already approved. I think it's something we should fund and get. What we didn't have back then was, what's it going to cost to maintain, not maintain so much as to execute what we want to do with that machine that we talked about. And on the machine itself, the paving machine.
On the paving machine, I have some information, as a matter of fact.
I think what we met yesterday.
Okay.
With Chris.
Okay.
How do you do this machine? How can you finance it? Obviously, if you finance to buy one, you don't want to go over 7 years. That's the life of the machine. Sure.
Exactly.
So some of your funds are very healthy because you have. Remember, you identified something. What are you all doing?
Oh, it was a dip service, but it's in the sanitation department. We don't have that dip service.
But then we talked about splitting to do that. Remember how taking the part of that
sweeper and
We talked about setting up a stormwater fee from the sanitation to fund the sweeper and the bajo machine.
which is also the payment.
Yes.
In other words, you establish a fund, not raising your money, whatever. You're all $15. Well, you establish this fund. Out of those 15, 5 are going to this. A lot of cities have a drainage fund. That's what they do, storm sewer or whatever it's called. And out of that, now you're creating this fund which you can use to buy this.
I think we estimated, round about 60,000 a year.
It was actually, the number is actually $18 that residents pay, and not 13.
Yeah, I heard it was 13 yesterday.
No, it's 18. It's 18.75 that we pay for garbage and brush. So we will take out $1 or $2 from there to pay this stormwater. So in the water bill, you're paying the same. It's just we're moving the money a little bit to fund these machines.
Okay, and let's say that be a solution if the monthly installment is 60,000, because that's a rough number that we kind of estimated. Then what you would need to be able to provide for me to run this machine all year long, I need to invest this much in the materials, and that's what we're going to have to invest in this.
Not only the materials, but I think the manpower. Am I right or wrong? And then you're gonna have to go with maybe a trailer to haul the thing, and then you can't haul that machine with an F-150. I'm assuming, right? You got a 3/4 ton or flat or something, So I guess you gotta, put those figures.
Also, the materials could be paid from that stormwater fund.
And so once you get that estimate, we'll know if it gets covered completely by.
I have a machine that I was just looking at today, and it's you can use it with your backhoe. The slider, you can put it down. It'll get your millings. It'll mill the street, and then you get. I'm looking into it. I said just some videos brief today when little chance I had. But I'm looking to that one so I can give you all, see how that works. If we can use that or utilize it, it'll be more benefit to us. But I'll get all that information ready.
Have you visited with, I mean, Westlaco, who just bought that machine, and they're paving quite a bit of miles? Alamo's been doing it for a while. You know, the folks that have already tried and tested, it'd be a great resource for us to say, what do you think about it? What's the pros and cons about it, and what are your, you know, based how many miles do you do a year? Just so that we have some kind of guidance of some folks and maybe some feedback. I don't know what machines each city uses, but
I saw the road, actually, like, it's very similar to what our Central is. McAllen has that. Very, very similar. And they're very, very happy with it. You know, but like I said, it's not a paper, it's a road patching. And it's for potholes. But, you know, it's working in McAllen. We went out there, did a demonstration for us, I think some of my workers out there. And we looked at it, and, like, that's why I kind of presented this, and so we saw it firsthand also. We had, one of our operators, operated this command sweeper, and it's a one-man operation. But, you know, like I said, we look at different scenarios, and, I'll present it.
But
So I'm working very hard on it.
yes, because I mean, we want to figure out our funding. You know, realistically, we're looking at a huge amount, and I think when we look at that, we have to think of how do we make it happen, okay? And it might be, you know, we've often talked about taking things in phases, and when you've got everything in priority one, boy, that's really tough. And then those that don't make the first cut, what do we do to take care of them while we're getting to the second cut? And so, you know, I think as we look at this and we get some, I think Ronnie's provided us some solid numbers on his estimation. And then we'd like to look at what were we gonna be able to take care of with what we're trying to invest and what's left. And then we have what's left, and then we have to, we know we've just done an issuance for 4 point, whatever it is, 8 or 2, this past year. And if we go into the next funding, remember I talked about, can we do a capital improvement portion in our budget based on some, you know, if we look at everything we have and as dedicating an amount, because we want a lot of capital and we still have to cut $1 million. Is there a way that we could invest as throughout the entire budget, have a line item just for streets, because we know that that's the immediate demand, that we could put away, if we were to able to put away 125,000, I'm just throwing a number out there, 150,000. And then we go out and we start, and we tell Mr. Vela, who's the one's gonna crunch the numbers, okay, 150,000. We know that that's gonna be for streets, and can we tap any other source? But if we were to dedicate that, would the recommendation be, we can go out there and borrow against it, or do we do $150,000 worth of repair? The way you're gonna get more money is you go out for an issuance, if we're able to, because now we've dedicated that amount from always from our budget, and we could get, you know, $1 million or 1.2, maybe 2. Because of that we're committing forever for 20 years, right, from our budget that we could no longer touch. But it is our commitment to do that until something else would come up that would relieve us of that, and we would be able to do something quicker. But it becomes for us a statement that we know this is an issue, and we need to do something about it. And if we're going to wait for $8 million to come, we know we can't do $8 million all at once. But can we attack some of this based on, you know, going back and look at our priority ones to look at that? And are there any other sources of fundings? One of the, and these are residential. You know, we talk about the MPO and monies. Residential doesn't qualify under MPO plans. The city takes care of its residential areas. And if we look at this listing and we come up with, well, you know, that if we were to generate 1.1 million, that doesn't even, 1.1 million might be just one subdivision and half of another maybe.
Well, we did all this area, when we did this right here, both not this, all there here, and I think a little piece, it was about 900 and some thousand, this was 8 years ago.
Right.
So,
And most recently we did that neighborhood in Bears Trail.
yes, this one, and then we did the ones that are faulty.
For about $1 million. For about $1 million. Right? So the dilemma is always the same, is where does the funding come from? And what are the different places that it can come from? You know, we have dedicating enough money or some portion of the money. The other could be, we always have to revisit our taxes. And I think all of us agree that that's probably the last burden you want to put. And then we look at any increases in the sales or any other revenues that are coming in. Can we identify one? And one of the things that I want to throw out there that I've already discussed with our chief here and have one for you all to think about, we are allowed, and we dedicate a half of our cent to the EDC. One half goes, we get 2 cents from all our sales. We keep 1 for our general budget, half for our debt, and then we have another half that gets issued to the EDC. The law allows us that we can go in there and have an election and ask that, because the taxpayers authorized that the EDC get that half cent, it had to be through an election. Can we go back to the taxpayer as a possibility, and we can ask for 1/8 of 4th to come back of that 1/2 to the city, and the people would elect that, so, and dedicate it very specifically for an item, and I'm talking about specifically for the city. How we divide it, I think the code tells us that it would have to be done the same way that it got instituted, and that was through an election, through the community. And if we look at, and I only used a very round number of $1 million, and if we looked at $1 million and we said, like, okay, we look at 1/8. 1/8 would be $125,000 at $1 million. And that is, for the last years, it's been kind of consistently at $1 million. We haven't seen too much of an increase. If we did 1/4 of the half cent, it'd be $250,000. Now that's really cutting into what is available. Now, if we looked at $125,000 that we would put away as a commitment from us to dedicate to capital improvements of $125,000 or $150,000, if we consider a 1/8 to go to the voter to take from a sales tax, not to increase anything about them, but a sales tax, we could take another $125,000. If we rounded it off, $125,000 is $300,000. $300,000 could, if we were to go out for another issuance, it would get us, and only Mr. Vela could confirm this, but I would venture to say it would be another $3 million. How much are we paying on this issuance per year? What's our yearly on this $4 million? How much was it? About 300 and some? Right? So we could conceivably come up with another $3 million, $4 million with that option. I'm just throwing it out there for consideration. And what that would do is, if we were able to get $4 million, we would actually be able to do half of the priority 1 projects here to fund, and we would have funding for next year to do that. In the next, and of course, that's something that I cannot verify, because then Mr. Vela says, you know what, at this stage, you cannot go out for that much debt. But you can go out for this much debt. But at least if we can entertain that discussion, I like to be able to entertain that discussion. And if we were able to work, and we can talk about what would be good, not be good, but at least having the conversation as we are addressing, as we've just evaluated the need. You know, we talk about, well, you're going to take money away from the EDC, and y'all want economic development. All of those are going to come in, and we have to consider those as well. So I think what we need to be able to do also is take a good look at the budget that the EDC uses. I know that they're paying on a Texas Leverage Fund that gets paid. It's a debt which was invested for, we did Carroll Road, and we did all of the infrastructure around the businesses that are developing that you see on that area. So we know that immediately for that year, they have to put that away. I don't know if anything can be done to retire that earlier, but taking all those things in consideration, you know, what are we looking at that's coming? What kind of incentives have we been using anyway? Are they actual outlays of money or not? And evaluate those decisions that have been made so that when we get realistically, do we want to tap into that or no, we shouldn't tap into it? But I'd like to at least explore it. Not shut down and say, well, no, that's EDC money. I like to be able to explore it because if we look at what we need to do, the last thing I want to do is tax my folks. And we were very fortunate that, unfortunate, I guess, if you're having to pay the taxes, but fortunate in the sense that when we were able to lower taxes last year, but because we had a valuation increase. And we know that we were going to be able to realize more of it or the extent of it in this coming year when we get our tax, have we gotten our tax roll back already? Okay. Okay, we should have those numbers that says how much in valuations have increased, that we now are actually counting on a little bit more money because it's being realized with these increases in valuations, but not necessarily increases in taxes. So, you know, I think if we need to put our heads together and know, one, we all have identified the issues. Ronnie's now provided us a more realistic and upgraded presentation of what is needed. And so we need to come up with, how do we fund that? How much do we fund?
You know, Mayor, and, you know, just to add a little bit to that same idea that we're trying to go with, of course, you know, like you mentioned, streets are priority right now, and we're looking for different avenues where we can create streams of income. That's why we've spoken a little bit about possibly exploring the idea of outsourcing the trash collection and things of that nature. Because, do you have any idea how many resident accounts there are for trash pickup right now? Any idea just off the top of your head, más o menos? Residential? 6,000? 6,000. Okay, so, and right now, if I think we said they're paying $18.75, right? That's what we pay.
5% brush.
$18.75. Now, what we talked about is, like, let's say we outsource and they give us a price and they charge 14. You know, that other 475 could be, without even having to increase the price on our residents, that could be another 475 per account, you know, all the time. And at the same time, you've gotten away from all that overhead of the department, you know. Now, in the discussion, you know, you talk to this company and make sure that our employees are taken care of as well, you know, as far as jobs and things of that nature. But I think that that's an idea to explore, to see if we could maybe produce some income with that.
Now that's an enterprise fund. See, the money that you realize or you'll be saving goes to, we have the enterprise funds, so whenever we collect our monies for the water,
right,
you can only expend it in water related projects. If we do the sanitation, and correct me if I'm wrong, whatever we've been collecting goes into the sanitation fund and can only be used for that function. Streets, unfortunately, is general fund. And so that general fund is where we have to find the money. I think in the past when we were in binds by some legal whatever, we were able to transfer some monies, but it cannot be the practice because we're strictly required to use those funds in those areas. Is that not the case? So we would have to find something that we could do on the general fund side of the equation. So I'm not sure. You know, there's different. For example, I had looked into the taxing of cell phones, and apparently we're signed up. I looked it up, and we should be collecting something because it says those cities that do, and we do have that, which is one source that's available. You know, we look at other taxing and permit. You know, we got taxis that come in here. We can actually access a tax on taxis that service within here that doesn't affect our residents. So there's other, and they're smaller, but they definitely put some money into the coffers on the general fund side that do not impact our people directly. So we have a few that we can explore, but they generate 60, I mean, I don't know, 60,000. And I'm just saying the one on the telephone gives us about what, 50, 60,000?
About 32,000.
32,000. Yeah, we need to encourage more cell phone use in San Juan.
So the salaries and fuel and all the other expenses from the sanitation come from what fund? The general fund or from the sanitation? All
Sanitation.
salaries, all this.
Yeah,
Their fund.
they fund them their own.
self.
And I'll have you know that I've spoken to some mayors in other cities, and they're moving out of the sourcing out. Mission just did an entire overhaul and started from scratch. Well, Eslico's moving that way. I've heard a few talk about our neighboring cities' possibilities.
They say why?
They talk about not being efficient enough.
Wow.
Yes.
I've seen it, Mayor City and other cities, and once you lose control or you do it, it's hard to go back.
A lot of times they give you a good price at first, but then
Yeah.
little by little they start increasing.
Yeah. And their people are paying $35.
Jeez.
Yeah.
On residential?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right.
Working on that already. That's a good one because they, you know.
And that's how you fund those trucks that we need, through that kind of fund. And if that would have generated, then we could upgrade our fleet. And I'm not sure what is the rule on those enterprise funds of reserve? Do we have the same kind of rule as we do on the general fund? Okay, we try to do the same percentage, that 25%. Okay. Yes. Right.
And it's good to every now and then evaluate those rates and
Right.
with inflation, everything goes up, so. Yeah, it's very simple process. We lower the sanitation charge, and then we use that difference to create the stormwater. And so that we can start this stormwater division, and you pay your sweeper there, from there, the pothole, even the materials could be funded from there.
It's a continuous, absolutely. And then if we can get those dedications on the CDBG money, I mean, the commitment can be that the CDBG money for the next 10 years or 5 years will be strictly for streets. I know we've been taking advantage of it for the drainage, and I think we've made a lot of inroads in that, but that's another 200 and, I think it's at 65 or 285,000. I think it's given to us every year. Of course, we're at the mercy of whatever gets funded, but, you know, that's another thing that we can dedicate. And we can only dedicate it really to the actual uses, not to a bond. I may be wrong about that. You can't do a bond? Okay, we can't do a bond.
You obligate those funds to pay off the bond.
Okay, and we might say for 5 years, and then we have to restructure our debt at 5 or 7 years, and we release that, which gives us another 250,000 available for funding. But I think at this, you know, maybe we can have a session with, because we've now gotten your numbers with Mr. Vela, who might say, guys, y'all need to wait financially. Okay, but at least we're making this evaluation.
Exploring.
Yeah, and in our community, we're trying to figure out, you know, how can we address some of these number ones that are getting, you know, really, really difficult, and we know that. So that's something we can entertain in the real near future.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So maybe you can talk to Mr. Vela and do a workshop on that, and it's timely right now, so that whatever we need to do through the budget, we can do it before budget closing. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share with us?
The only thing is, look at the, I know it's a lot of number, a lot of streets, look at them, and if you see anything else, or any other streets, just
That
let me know.
that's not included, or how it's rated?
Not in here, or what I did, because there's a lot of streets that I might not have.
On the way to your car right now, after the meeting, you're gonna get a couple of them already.
Get it to me.
I want to assure you that we've just added your streets, okay? I don't know when the funding comes, but I'm telling you, you're on the list. And I appreciate your patience in being out here with us. Any other comments, anything else? That being said, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting? I'm sorry, we got another, I want to go home. Okay, well, we're done with this portion, so the rest of the folks, if you want to go to your families, you're able to. And thank you for being out here. I'd like to now call us into executive session under the Texas Code, Government Code, Section 551, Subchapter D, exceptions to requirements that the meeting be open. 551.071, consultation with attorney. A, to consult and seek advice with the city attorney as to relates to contemplated litigation on a matter in which the duty of the city attorney to the city under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with the Texas Government Code. Chapter 551, open meetings relating to Texas Descon LP by Descon 4S LLC, its general partner, and the city's 3.5 MGD water plant, water treatment plant number 2 expansion and rehabilitation. We will enter at 8:01. open session at 8:25 under item in executive section, item A, council.
Mayor, I'd like a motion to proceed as discussed in executive session.
Is there a motion to that effect?
So move.
Who moved first, please?
Mayor Pro Tem.
And who second?
Second.
All in favor state aye.
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 Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
No.
Com-
Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem, second.
Second.
All in favor state aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned at 8:27.